SAS Squad, get ready for a deep dive. Today we're dissecting the meteoric rise of Ilia El Matador Topuria. We'll explore the origins of the nickname and what it truly means in the context of his fighting style. He is the undefeated UFC featherweight champion, a title he claimed with undeniable force. But how did he get here? And what challenges lie ahead in his reign? He boasts a perfect record of 17-0, a testament to his skill and determination inside the octagon. Topuria oozes confidence, a quality that can be both an asset and a potential weakness. And he possesses a highlight reel that's pure electricity, filled with devastating knockouts and dominant performances. Each fight seems to amplify the excitement surrounding his name. But the burning question remains, is his unblemished record a true reflection of his abilities? Or is it a product of strategic, perhaps even favorable matchmaking? Are his opponents truly the best the division has to offer? Make no mistake, Topuria dominates every fight he's in, showcasing a well-rounded skill set and relentless aggression. But is he a true phenom, destined for greatness, or simply the biggest fish thriving in a relatively small pond? Has he truly been tested against the elite? We're digging deep into his career trajectory, analyzing his path to the championship. We're scrutinizing his wins, examining the caliber of his opponents and the manner of his victories. And we're asking the critical question, is Ilia Topuria truly unstoppable, a force of nature in the featherweight division? Or beneath the hype, is there a discernible blueprint, a strategic weakness that a savvy opponent could exploit to defeat him? Let's break down the hype surrounding Ilia Topuria and determine, once and for all, if it's genuinely legit or just clever marketing. It's time to get to the bottom of the Ilia Topuria phenomenon and uncover the truth behind the El Matador mystique. Let's talk numbers. Topuria's 17-0 record is rare in MMA. He finishes most of his fights, 6 knockouts, 7 submissions, only 4 decisions. That's a dangerous, versatile fighter. His UFC wins include names like Damon Jackson, Ryan Hall, Jai Herbert, Josh Emmett, and Alexander Volkanovski. Beating Volk for the belt? That's a statement. But before the title, were his opponents truly elite or just favorable matchups? Some critics say his path was convenient, with opponents past their prime. The numbers are impressive, but context matters. Here's the spicy question that's been circulating in the MMA world. It's a question that gets to the heart of Topuria's rise to the top. Has Topuria mostly faced aging fighters? Is his success built on victories against opponents who are past their prime? Let's look at the facts. He beat Volkanovski at 35, a respected champion, but was he the same fighter he once was? Emmett at 38, a seasoned veteran no doubt, but also nearing the end of his career? Herbert at 34, still a capable fighter, but arguably not in the peak years of his athletic performance. Hall at 36, another experienced competitor, but with miles on the clock. That's a pattern emerging, isn't it? A trend that's hard to ignore when you look at the data. It seems his biggest wins are against fighters well past their athletic peak. Fighters who may have lost a step or two. Topuria's youth and explosiveness, his raw power and speed, give him a clear edge over older opponents. A significant advantage in terms of stamina and recovery. He's dominated, showcasing his skills and power in impressive fashion. But is it just talent that's propelling him forward? Or is he strategically exploiting a generational gap, capitalizing on the experience versus youth dynamic? The truth is, we haven't really seen him tested to his absolute limit. Not against someone just as young, fast and hungry, someone in their prime. To truly prove he's the king of the featherweight division, to cement his legacy, he needs to beat the new wave of contenders, the up-and-coming stars hungry for the throne. The real test, the ultimate challenge, is still ahead for Ilia Topuria. The featherweight and lightweight divisions, two of the most exciting weight classes in the UFC, are constantly evolving. New talent emerges, rivalries ignite, and the pursuit of the championship intensifies with each passing event. Are stacked with young killers. These are not just fighters, they are athletes honed to a razor's edge, hungry for victory and eager to make their mark on the sport. They bring a level of intensity and unpredictability that keeps fans on the edge of their seats. Paddy Pimblett, chaotic, a true showman inside and outside the octagon. Paddy brings a unique energy to every fight. Aggressive and a submission threat, he's always looking for the finish, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. His grappling skills are constantly improving, making him a dangerous opponent for anyone. Could make for a wild super fight. Imagine Pimblett facing off against some of the division's top strikers. The clash of styles would be nothing short of spectacular. Topuria's striking is sharper, his boxing is crisp, and his power is undeniable. He's a calculated fighter who picks his shots with precision. But Paddy's unpredictability could cause problems if it hits the mat. His unorthodox style and willingness to take risks could throw Topuria off his game. Then there's Arman Tsarukyan, a force to be reckoned with in the lightweight division, a relentless wrestler in his prime. His cardio is unmatched, and his ability to control opponents on the ground is truly impressive. If Topuria moves up, testing himself against the larger fighters of the division, Arman's pressure and top control would be a nightmare test. He would suffocate Topuria's striking and force him to grapple for survival. Is Topuria the real deal? Absolutely. He's a legit champ. He has proven himself against the best in the featherweight division. But is he untouchable? Can he maintain his dominance against the rising tide of talent? No way. The fight game is too unpredictable for anyone to be considered untouchable. The biggest challenges of his career are still coming. He will need to continue to evolve and adapt if he wants to stay on top. Will El Matador reign, continuing his impressive run and solidifying his legacy? Or is his perfect record about to be broken? The featherweight and lightweight divisions are filled with hungry contenders eager to take his place. Let's hear your take in the comments. Who do you think poses the biggest threat to Topuria's reign?
What's up, fight fans? You know there's never a dull moment when Conor McGregor is involved, and right now, he's dropped some of the wildest, most cryptic hints we've ever seen. I'm talking about a $25 million bare-knuckle boxing tournament, mysterious social media posts, and, get this, rumors swirling about a potential fight at the White House. Is this just classic Conor showmanship, or is there something bigger brewing beneath the surface? Let's dive into the madness. First off, let's talk about the man himself. Conor McGregor is MMA's ultimate headline generator. Every time he moves, the combat sports world holds its breath. Just recently, he made an official visit to the White House. On paper, it had nothing to do with fighting, but anyone who follows Conor knows he rarely does anything without a reason. Ever since that trip, his social feeds have been full of cryptic messages and sly winks. I mean, is he just trolling for attention, or is he actually plotting something? Now let's get into this $25 million BKFC tournament. Bare knuckle fighting is as raw as it gets, and Conor's business moves are shaking up the sport. He's been spotted ringside, getting chummy with fighters, and even hinting at going all in with BKFC. With a prize pool like that, we're talking about potentially the biggest event in bare knuckle history. But then comes the real curveball, the White House. In between hyping the tournament, Conor's been dropping these cryptic hints about bringing the fight to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Sounds crazy, right? But with him, nothing's off the table. Let's break down the clues. The White House visit, the sly tweets, the never-ending hype. To some, it's just McGregor being McGregor, king of the mind games and the media circus. But imagine it, a bare-knuckle fight on the White House lawn. It'd be a publicity masterstroke, the kind of spectacle only Conor could pull off. But let's be real, the odds of pulling off something like that in the real world? Pretty slim. Still, the intrigue is exactly what keeps us all coming back. Here's the thing, Conor isn't just about fighting, he's always thinking bigger. Business deals, global events, legacy. BKFC gives fighters more control, more earning potential, and a shot at something truly unique. This $25 million tournament, it could change the game for everyone. And if you throw in the possibility, no matter how faint, of a White House showdown, you've got the kind of hype money can't buy. So what's next? Is this just another wild chapter in the Conor McGregor saga, or is he actually setting up the biggest shock in combat sports history? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, whatever he's planning, I'll be watching, and so will the entire MMA world. Now I want to hear from you. Is Conor's White House hint for real, or is it just another masterclass in hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more wild fight stories right here on Channel Name, where the fights are fierce, the rumors are wild, and the mysteries are always worth digging into. See you next.
What a time to be alive. Just when MMA seemed to settle, chaos erupts again. JonJones, the king of drama, retires, then unretires before you can blink. But the real circus? Donald Trump wants to host UFC fights on the White House lawn. The heavyweight division is pure chaos. Jones holding the belt hostage, Tom Aspinall quietly dominating as interim champ. It's ego versus humility, politics versus pure sport. Now presidential politics and Secret Service in the octagon, only in MMA. Aspinall just wants to fight the best. Jones and Trump want the spotlight. This isn't just about a title fight anymore. It's legacy, politics, and the soul of the division. We've got a retired champ, a president in waiting, and a humble Manchester lad who might be the baddest man alive. The stakes have never been higher, or weirder. Let's break it down and make sense of the madness. Buckle up. This ride is just getting started. Let's talk Johnny Bones Jones, the master of dramatic retirements. For 2 weeks, the MMA world believed he was done. Legacy secure, curtain call, all that. But if you know Jones, you knew he'd be back. And like clockwork, he was. The shortest, most predictable retirement in sports history. It was all about headlines, keeping his name front and center. While others grind, Jones manipulates the narrative, always the puppet master. But this time the stunt backfired. Instead of kingly, he looked uncertain. Why the drama? If you're the GOAT, just fight. The retirement charade feels less like power play, more like a man feeling the pressure of a new generation. Jones is still on the throne, but he's looking over his shoulder. The landscape is changing, and he knows it. The king's grip is slipping, and the world is watching. Enter Tom Aspinall, the anti-Jon Jones. No drama, no trash talk, just pure professionalism. He's humble, polite, and seems like a guy you'd grab a pint with. But when the cage door shuts, he's a savage. Dismantling top heavyweights with ease. Knocked out Topuria in a minute, starched Pavlovich on short notice, avenged his only loss against Blades. He's not just winning, he's making elite fighters look ordinary. Aspinall's quiet confidence is more intimidating than any bravado. He lets his fighting do the talking, earning fans tired of endless drama. He's a throwback to martial arts values, respect, skill, and a hunger to test himself. The contrast with Jones makes this heavyweight story so compelling. Aspinall is the future, and he's knocking loudly. The only question, will anyone answer? Let's settle this. Aspinall's interim belt is no consolation prize. In today's division, it's the most legitimate title Jones hasn't defended, so the UFC kept things moving. Aspinall stepped up on 2 weeks' notice, knocked out Pavlovich, then demolished Blades. He's beating the best, doing a champion's job. The interim label is just a tool for Jones to dodge a real threat. Dismissing Aspinall's belt is transparent. He's the most dangerous contender for an aging Jones. That belt represents the present and future, not the past. Aspinall earned it with skill and courage. Show some respect. He's the man to beat right now. The term interim is just a word. Aspinall deserves his shot to unify the belts. Anything less is a disservice to him and the sport. This is the fight that must happen. Jones versus Aspinall. It's the classic aging lion versus hungry challenger. Jones, the GOAT, but aging and with only one heavyweight fight. Aspinall, the new breed, big, fast, technical in his prime. He's a problem Jones has never faced. For Aspinall, it's a chance to become a legend. The hesitation from Jones? Fighting Stipe is legacy, but Stipe's 42 and inactive. Beating Aspinall proves Jones is the best today. Avoiding him looks like ducking, not greatness. Does Jones want to retire as the GOAT or as the man who beat the new king? The Stipe fight is a story. The Aspinall fight is the test. Fans want the real challenge. The collision is inevitable, if Jones has the appetite. Just when you thought it couldn't get weirder, Trump wants UFC at the White House. The Octagon on the South Lawn, Bruce Buffer, Secret Service, the works. It's absurd, ridiculous, and undeniably American. Imagine fighters walking out from the West Wing, press conferences in the briefing room. Dana White would love it, the ultimate promoter's dream. The logistics, a nightmare. Security, pressure, history, it's wild. But it's all about the show, a moment nobody would forget. Trump and Dana, two showmen, blurring lines between sport and politics. Is it a good idea? Probably not. Is it insane? Absolutely. But would we all watch? Of course, it's a car crash of culture and violence, impossible to ignore, only in America. God bless the UFC. If you're fighting at the White House, you need a main event as wild as the venue. Enter McGregor versus Chandler. The fight promised, postponed, and debated forever. Putting it on the White House lawn is so absurd, it's perfect. McGregor returns on the world's biggest stage. Chandler ready for war. The pressers would be legendary. Insults flying with the presidential seal behind them. This isn't about titles. It's about spectacle. Two explosive personalities. Guaranteed fireworks. It's a fun fight, and the White House is the only place wild enough for it. The idea is so ridiculous it just might happen. It's the UFC's journey from niche to mainstream, loud and unforgettable. In this crazy world, it feels strangely plausible, and we'd all be glued to our screens. Let's get to the heart of it. Is Jon Jones ducking Tom Aspinall? The Jones camp says Stipe is the legacy fight, but Stipe's 42 and inactive. The Stipe fight is lower risk, high reward. The Aspinall fight, high risk, high reward. Aspinall is younger, faster, and dangerous. A loss to Aspinall isn't passing the torch, it's getting dethroned. Jones's actions, retirement talk, dismissing Aspinall, focusing on Stipe, look like exit strategy, not champion mentality. A true champ says, bring me the number one guy. Right now, that's Aspinall, and Jones seems uninterested. Is he running? Maybe not literally, but he's making a business decision, avoiding the most dangerous contender for a safer legacy fight. As a fighter, it's disappointing. As a fan, it's frustrating. The GOAT should want the best, no matter the risk. Right now, it doesn't look like Jones does. So there you have it. The heavyweight division is a glorious mess. Jones playing games, Aspinall waiting, and the White House as a possible fight venue. The next 6 months will be wild. Now, what do you think? Is Jones a genius or running scared? Is the Stipe fight right or a dodge? And the White House fight night, genius or circus? Finally, who wins, Jones or Aspinall? Legacy or the future? Get in the comments and make your case. Cheers. All right, let's cut the nonsense and get right to it. Welcome back to the only place on the internet where we serve up fight analysis with a side of unfiltered, unapologetic truth. Today, we're diving into the chaos of MMA, Ilia Topuria's hype, Conor McGregor's latest circus, and Jon Jones's heavyweight legacy. We're here to sift through the garbage, find the gold, and call it exactly like we see it. So grab your coffee, settle in, and prepare to have your favorite narratives thoroughly dismantled. Let's start with Ilia Topuria, El Matador. Undefeated featherweight champ and swagger for days. He's either your hero or your villain. His knockout of Volkanovski was spectacular, but is one highlight enough to crown him the next great? Topuria talks big, calling out everyone from Max Holloway to Canelo Alvarez. Ambition is great, but reality is a different beast in MMA. His skills are legit. Crisp boxing, real power, underrated grappling. He's a modern mixed martial artist, dangerous everywhere, but has he truly faced the division's elite? Not yet. Every champion faces a moment of truth. For Topuria, that test is still coming. He's looked phenomenal, but potential doesn't win fights. The hype is real, but the legend isn't written yet. Let's look at the resume because that's what matters. Topuria ran through Bryce Mitchell and dominated Josh Emmett. Solid wins, but favorable matchups. Mitchell's striking defense is shaky. Emmett's not the most technical striker. These were calculated steps, not leaps into the fire. Where's the fight against a relentless cardio machine like Arnold Allen? Or a wild striker like Yair Rodriguez? The Volkanovski win was huge, but was Volk at his best after a brutal knockout loss? Context matters. Topuria is a deserving champ, but is he overrated? The hype may be outpacing the reality. Past featherweight kings like Aldo and Holloway fought a murderer's row. Topuria's list is short. He's got the belt and the skills, but not the legacy yet. Until he weathers the toughest storms, the overrated tag will follow. Now let's shift gears to the man who invented the modern MMA hype train, Conor McGregor. These days he's more brand than fighter. His latest act? Part owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It's a smart business move, aligning with a raw, growing sport that fits his image. But with Conor, it's always about the spectacle. He teases a bare-knuckle fight, keeps the buzz alive, and stays in the headlines. And then there's the political talk. President McGregor? Absurd, but he loves the attention. He's built a persona so big that nothing seems impossible. BKFC and political teases are all part of the same strategy. Stay relevant, control the narrative, keep the money rolling in. Whether he ever fights in the UFC again is almost secondary. He's playing a different game than everyone else, and for now he's winning. Let's dig into this BKFC move. For McGregor, it's not just business, it's leverage. The UFC controls everything. BKFC gives him freedom and power. He can shape the brand, promote it, and create his own fighting venue. It's a power play aimed at the UFC. I don't need you. Teasing a bare-knuckle fight keeps fans buzzing and puts pressure on the UFC. It's a negotiation tactic disguised as a business venture. And the political talk? Maybe a joke, maybe not. In today's world, celebrity and politics mix more than ever. McGregor's building a legacy beyond fighting. Wealth, power, cultural impact. The actual fighting is just one part of a much bigger performance. He's aiming for immortality, not just wins. You can't help but watch to see if he pulls it off. Let's talk about the heavyweight elephant, Jon Jones. The GOAT is on the throne, but inactivity and controversy cloud his reign. He returned, submitted Cyril Gane, and claimed the title, then vanished. The Stipe-Miocic fight is about legacy, but the division is stuck in limbo. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has exploded onto the scene. Fast, powerful, and dangerous. Fans think Jones is avoiding Aspinall, focusing on an aging Stipe for a safer legacy win. Is it business or is it ducking? Jones's silence on Aspinall is fueling the fire. For the first time, his legacy is being questioned. The shine is starting to fade. Why is Tom Aspinall such a threat to Jon Jones? Jones's old advantages, reach, IQ, size, don't mean as much at heavyweight. Aspinall matches him in size, but brings shocking speed and agility. His boxing is fluid, his footwork sharp, and he's dangerous everywhere. On the ground, he's a legit black belt. No easy takedowns here. The risk for Jones, huge. Stipe is a safer, high-reward fight. Aspinall is high-risk, high-reward. If Jones beats Aspinall, his legacy is untouchable. If he loses, the aura is shattered. By avoiding Aspinall, Jones creates a permanent what-if. Even if he beats Stipe, fans will always wonder. For a legacy-obsessed fighter, that shadow may haunt him forever. His greatest challenge isn't Stipe. It's the court of public opinion. The new generation is knocking, and Jones can't ignore it much longer. So where do we stand? Topuria champion with swagger, but a thin resume. Is he the next great or just well-timed? McGregor, more empire builder than fighter, using bkfc and politics to stay relevant. Jones chasing legacy, but maybe dodging the real threat in Aspinall. These aren't simple questions. Ego, money, ambition, and reality all collide. What you see depends on where you stand. This is what makes MMA so compelling. I've laid out the facts and asked the hard questions. Now it's your turn. Is Topuria the real deal or a hype job? Is McGregor a genius or just a showman? Is Jones protecting his legacy or running from Aspinall? Get in the comments and let's debate. Bring your facts, your passion, and your hottest takes. Tell me why I'm right or why I'm dead wrong. The floor is yours, keyboard warriors. Let's hear it. You're watching Kiss My Sass MMA, where the truth hurts more than a spinning heel kick to the ribs. Today, I'm not talking knockouts, I'm talking life-saving moves. Ben Askren's lung collapsed, the UFC turned their backs. Jake Paul stepped in with the bag, and Dana White got called out like never before. Let's get into the fire. Ben Askren, Olympic wrestler, former UFC title challenger, one of the most polarizing guys to ever step in the cage. But behind the memes and flying knees, he was fighting for his life. Askren's lung issues got deadly serious. When it was time for surgery, a full-on lung transplant, the UFC, crickets, man. Despite years of headlining cards, building fan bases, and taking real damage for Dana's empire, the UFC reportedly refused to pay for the transplant. So enter Jake Paul, YouTube star, pro boxer, MMA's most hated outsider, and maybe, just maybe, the most unexpected hero in the game. When he heard about Ben's situation, Jake didn't just talk, he paid. Jake Paul dropped serious money toward Askren's lung transplant, and he wasn't alone. Logan Paul and others jumped in too. Let's be honest, Jake's made a career out of trolling MMA, but this time, he proved he cares more about fighters than the promotion that built them. Jake didn't just write a check, he lit a fire. He called out Dana White directly, accused the UFC of leaving fighters behind. No health insurance, no support, no care, just profit. This is what Jake's been screaming for years: fighter pay, fighter protection, accountability. And when a YouTuber is taking care of UFC fighters while Dana flies private jets, it's hard to argue who's in the wrong. But look, this isn't just about Ben Askren, this is about the entire MMA system. Fighters risk everything: brain damage, broken limbs, collapsed lungs, and for what? $12K to show $12K to win? Jake Paul isn't the villain here, he's doing what the UFC should have done, showing that fighters matter when the lights fade. If it wasn't for Jake and his crew, Ben Askren might not be here today. Let that sink in. Ben Askren survived, thanks to outside help. Jake Paul walked the walk and saved a life. UFC, still ducking the healthcare conversation. Fighter pay, still broken. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should UFC cover fighter health post-retirement? Was Jake Paul right to call out Dana? And does this change how you see Jake versus the MMA world? Like, if you respect Askren's toughness, subscribe. If you think fighter pay needs to be fixed yesterday. This is Kiss My Sass MMA, where I throw punches and tell the truth. Ilia Topuria, 15-0. Spain's savage striker with a highlight reel that's got more snap than a McGregor tweet. But just because you've never lost doesn't mean you're untouchable. And that zero? It might be living on borrowed time. Take a closer look at the resume. Josh Emmett, 38 years old, tough as nails, but let's be honest, he's on the back nine of his career. Volkanovski, all-time great for sure. But he took that fight on short notice, coming off a brutal KO loss to Islam Makhachev, still looking flat from the jump. And Jai Herbert, unranked at lightweight, and he nearly sent Ilya to the shadow realm with a head kick. So, where's the fresh, elite talent that proves Topuria's greatness? I'm not seeing it yet. But this isn't just about hype, this is about bad blood. Topuria and Paddy Pimblett, they legit hate each other, and that's not hype, that's history. Rewind to UFC London hotel altercation, heated words, and then Ilya launches a bottle of hand sanitizer at Paddy's head. That moment, instant meme. Paddy's response? He branded him for life hand sanitizer boy. Every fan remembers that clip, and ever since, the rivalry's been red hot. They've almost thrown hands outside the cage. And if they ever finally fight inside one, that energy would be nuclear. And you can't sleep on Paddy. His striking is awkward, his chin holds, and he thrives in ugly, chaotic fights. He isn't textbook, but he's real trouble. Then you got Arman Tsarukyan, the dark horse of the division. Relentless wrestling, endless cardio, quiet killer vibes. He's not coming to strike with Ilya. He'll smother him, tie him up, chain wrestle until Topuria looks human. Ilya looks amazing when he's dictating the pace, but what happens when he's forced to react instead of attack? Here's the truth nobody escapes. Every fighter eventually takes an L. When it happens, will Ilya be humble, or will the ego that fueled his rise turn into a meltdown? The world loves a king, but they love a fallen king even more. Topuria's unbeaten now, but the pressure's mounting, Paddy's waiting, Arman's lurking, and the real fights, the legacy fights, are still ahead.